So, chapter 4, issue number 4. I love this cover. While the others were just littered with characters everywhere, this one image of Superman in red, surrounded by smoke, never ending battle. That's an awesome. I'd love to have that as a poster, right? Again, more like biblical imagery, more scripture. There are voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. This was my dream. You see these like angels and demons fighting each other and these giants and whatever. This was my dream. No more. It's not a vision anymore. This is what he's seeing in real life. So, Superman and Captain Marvel, they're coming at each other. They're fighting right here. Hawkman going forward. He impales whatever demonic dude this is right here. What else can we see in here? Wonder Woman fighting whoever this guy is. Looks like did she throw a spear into him? Green Lantern coming out, just floating. That's a cool image as he's shooting down, creating all this fire. Red Arrow shooting up. I forget these guys' names. Atom Smasher. This one guy. Robin fighting this guy. Bodies everywhere. People on the ground. Just all this like chaos. Just composing something with this much detail is insane. And then painting it. It's one thing to draw and having someone color it later, but he's painting it by hand, man. Impressive. Like you can see, like this kind of stuff is you see more nowadays with like advancements in coloring and digital colors and all that. Back in the day, in 1994 or whenever, like coloring was so much different then. So this was just absolutely mind-blowing, this art. And Norman, he's watching this and he's yelling like, look at all this is going on. We have to do something. Make it stop. Inspector's like, I can't. He's like, why? What has to happen? How much time has to pass? He's like, there will be a reckoning. Be prepared. More fighting. Superman trying to reason with Captain Marvel, saying, snap out of it. We can do this together. Or, no, you can't do this. This is happening too fast. We can work together. He gets fucking punched. Captain Marvel, he's just like, fuck you. I know his name is Shazam now. A lot of people still call him Captain Marvel. I call him Captain Marvel here because that's what he's called here in this book. I'm not one of those who's like, he's the Captain Marvel. He'll always be Captain Marvel to me. He's called Shazam now. Just, get over it. So we go to the UN, and they know what's going on, and they're basically sending this pilot out, and you have one job to do. They're basically going to drop a fucking nuclear bomb, is what they're going to do. Some people are like, this is unacceptable. It's going to kill civilians too. There has to be some other way. We can't just drop a nuclear bomb. And so this conflict threatens to spread forth and engulf the world, and then what are we going to do? So a lot of people are silent, and they send this guy out. They give a salute, and I think this guy was modeled after what was his name, Skinner from the X-Files, not from Simpsons, but the X-Files. And so he goes in, and see the planes taking off, and that's not a great decision. No one's happy with making that decision. No one should be happy making that decision. More fighting, more mayhem, more conflict. And everything just seems to be out of control. Nothing is going to stop this. With Superman deadlocked, their only prayer of deliverance rests. This is a cool moment. With a force from on high. And here comes the goddamn Batman. In a metal suit. And his army that he has. And Batman's Legion soars in like a silent cavalry. Man or machine, each agent knows his mission. Stem the loss of life. Stem the loss of life, yeah. Prevent the riot while there's still time to exert control. So this is a fucking cool thing. This guy shoots fire at him, and he's like, his armor protects him, goes over his mouth, and he shoots like this retardant, the fire like extinguisher shit. Knocks this guy out. That's a fucking awesome thing. And this guy, he was one of the ones that was just causing shit from the beginning. He's about ready to crush this, I think that Zatanna or Zatara dude. But he gets fucking murdered. Wonder Woman kills him. I think there'd be more blood, but whatever. Batman notices that. He's like, Diana, he's like, you left me no choice. They began this, I will finish it. And all these guys are like, oh my god, she killed him. Like, fucking bitch, get her. So these guys attack them, and Batman and Wonder Woman are back to back. They're fighting, but they're arguing with each other. It's like, we're going to finish this without your people, Bruce. Like, you're not in the league. He's like, yeah, because we're here to save lives rather than take them. She's like, fuck you. Yeah. And he's giving her shit. It's like, force peace, the Amazon tenet. So he's just basically making her feel like shit. He says, face the truth. You won't win back your royal station by overcompensating. She's like, you fucking bastard. How dare you condemn me? She turns on him. She swipes at him. Takes out a piece of his whatever armor there. And grabs him and goes into the air. And she's like, I will not be judged by you. After all these years, to have the nerve to swagger out of your cave and expect everyone to bow before your precious wisdom, it's too late for that. So, really quick, before we get into this other stuff, so you got Batman and Wonder Woman here in a semi-conflict. They're not fighting to the death, but they're just yelling at each other. And that's, if we go all the way back, that's what this represents. The conflict between Batman and Wonder Woman. That's a kind of cool moment. So, while they're up above the clouds, they notice these 3 planes coming in. And they both have the realization of what's going to happen and what they have. So, Superman is going at it with Captain Marvel still. He's trying to, talk some sense into him. He's shooting at him with his fucking heat vision. And he starts yelling Shazam. Now, Shazam is all about, or Captain Marvel is all about magic, and Superman is vulnerable to magic. So the lightning comes down and fucking hits Superman, and that hurts. And he keeps saying Shazam, lightning coming down, striking Superman, and both of them, presumably. See some stuff here. Looks like Robin got hurt, and his daughter's there, kind of in grief. Magog is there. He's not doing anything. Are some people escaping? I don't know what's quite going on right there. Green Lantern is fighting. Flash is maybe doing some shit here. Oh, his helmet is off. Is he down? Like, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. It's more Shazam, more lightning coming down. Batman and Wonder Woman, they see these, and they're like, well, there's your answer. Like, they have nuclear carriers. Like, we have to do something. He's like, if your soul genuinely longs for atonement on Amazonian terms, let's keep fighting and let the planes do their work. And they look at each other and they just have agreement, let's stop them. So Batman uses some lasers, takes out this one. Wonder Woman uses her sword, but well, they're taking out 2. There's a third, and you hear Norman is like, I hear the whisper of the pilot begging forgiveness, and he drops a bomb. So on the ground below, Superman, he's hurt, he's bleeding. Captain Marvel's standing over him, all triumphant, smiling, and he says Shazam again. But Superman looks up and he moves forward with super speed, and as soon as it happens, like every time this lightning comes down, it's supposed to change him back and forth into his different personas, right? Billy Batson and Captain Marvel. So he caught him in his human form. Fingers that can fuse coal into diamond crawl across human bone. So now he can't talk. They did the same thing in an episode of Justice League Unlimited when Captain Marvel and Superman fought. And Superman stopped him by covering his mouth, keeping him from saying Shazam. He was a boy in that cartoon, but he's a man here. So now that he has a moment, Superman notices the bomb. And then Norman Inspector says, "It is time. Judgment has come. The hour tolls." He's like, "Our journey has brought us to this moment." He says, "The bomb will determine the fate of the world. If it drops, Superman will surely die, but humanity will be spared their violence. If not, they will live on to fight a battle that will in time swallow the earth." So he's telling, like, Norman, like, you need to judge, like, whose sin is this, the humans or the superhumans? Like, tell me and judge. And he's like, what? I can't, there's no evil here. This is just tragedy. And he goes to Superman, and he's like, I don't know what to do. He's like, I can't make this choice. He kind of knows the same thing. He needs to make this choice. It's like, do I just let the bomb come and kill us and, like, save humanity, or do I stop it and spare our lives? And Superman says, listen to me like you've never listened before. He's talking to Billy. He's, look around you. You either kill us or we run rampant across the globe. I can stop the bomb, but I don't know if I should be allowed to. And he goes back and forth between Superman and Norman. Norman says, superhumans or mankind, one will pay the ultimate price. Which one needs to pay that ultimate price? Superman and him, like, they're kind of intermingled still. Superman says, that decision, Norman says, is not for me to make. I'm not a god. And Superman says, I'm not a man. But Billy, you're both. More than anyone who have existed, you know what it's like to live in both worlds. You can weigh their worth equally. Fight the brainwashing, Billy. You can let me go, or with a word, you can stop me. So he's like, stop me and let the bomb come down, or let me go and let me save everyone here. And Captain Marvel, he's like crying, a tear goes down, and Superman says, decide the world, and he flies up. And Billy's looking at him, and he says the word Shazam. So does that mean that he's gonna, with a word, stop Superman? And again, the way Alex Ross is able to do this shit, you just feel like the power and like speed and like the angles that they do and everything. He's just so good at superhero shit. This down angle, looking at Superman, he's flying up, the lightning bolt coming up, Superman looking back. Here comes Captain Marvel. Grabs a hold of Superman and pulls him down. Superman's trying to hold on to him and kind of grabs his cape, Captain Marvel's cape, and he falls down. Captain Marvel goes up, he pushes onto the bomb, everyone's watching, goes through all these like views of everyone, and he starts just yelling, Shazam, Shazam, Shazam. And it detonates. This mushroom cloud is meant to invoke a cross as well, right? But just this scene, you see like all the lightning going around the bomb. It wasn't at ground zero. It happened up here, but it's still like the force and the shockwave is fucking up a lot of shit down here. So is that the choice he made, to like kill all the superhumans? Norman is covering his head. There's Spectre. Judgment. And there's Superman. And we are to be reminded of this cover. If I can get there. I love this image of Superman screaming, but there's no words. There's not like, ah, like you can feel it, you can hear it. And look at all the death there. Can we, like, is that Ted Cord? He fucking died. Adam, there's Superman in the midst of all this death. And he stands up, fucking red eyes. You know when Superman's eyes are red like that, he is fucking pissed. So, looks like he's the only survivor. He's like, where's he going? Certainly to confront his human attackers. He feels completely alone. He needs not be. There were survivors. So there's this group. You can see Magog here. This is Dr. Fate. It's hard to tell who everyone is. It's like, judgment has been passed. I'm no longer needed. Farewell. He's like, wait, what? Farewell? Fuck you. He's like, you can't just, like, have me watch people die. You want to confront evil? Then get us to the UN now. You saw Superman. An anger that could twist steel. If what happens next happens, the only way you can let it, that is, and like if you let happen what Superman's basically going to go and murder everyone. He's so pissed off. He's like, if you let that happen, that is evil. So Superman, he's just like up here in the UN. They talk about the doors. He's welded the doors, and he's just bringing everything down. He's kind of just gone nuts a little bit. After 10 years, he has finally let free a wrath that could cower Satan himself. Like that with the red eyes. So cool. And Norman's like, let me talk to him now. And he calls him by his human name, Clark. He's like, you blame yourself for Captain Marvel, for Magog in Kansas for 10 years. And he says, you're angry, but in that anger, you're forgetting once more what humans feel, what they fear. Like they won't forgive you for this, Clark, but forgive yourself. And he hears him, and he closes his eyes, he stops. He's like, who are you? Why are you here? And he says, listen to me, Clark. Of all the things you can do, your greatest strength has been your instinctive knowledge of right and wrong. But the minute you made the super more important than the man, the day you decided to turn your back on mankind, that completely cost you your instinct. That took your judgment away, and take it back. Know the right from wrong. He says, the next decision you make is going to if you want redemption, it lies in the very next decision you make. Make it as a man and make it right. Here come Batman, Wonder Woman, and some of the survivors. Captain Marvel, and so Wonder Woman kind of explains, Captain Marvel managed to detonate the bomb high above Ground Zero. With combined powers of Green Lantern and others, there were survivors. It's like, how many? It's like enough to leave us with the same problems, the same dangers, the same distrust and everything. So what now? Now we put things right. He says, years ago, I swore I let those that I swore to protect drive me away, and we all left. And that was the day all of this began. And he says, like, yeah, we saw you as gods, and that's what we saw ourselves, but, we're not. I can't care about the mistakes of yesterday. I can care about tomorrow together. And he says, we're going to take care of these problems by existing with you. We're not going to solve them for you, but with you, not by ruling above you, but by living among you. And using the wisdom one man left as his legacy. And he says, I asked Captain Marvel to choose between humans and superhumans, But he alone knew that was a false vision and made the only choice that ever truly matters. He chose life. So he takes his cape and kind of places it as a flag in the UN. So Norman and Spectre, they leave. Time goes forward. I think this is the mansion. Now it's turned into a hospital, and Bruce Wayne is caring for people. Some of the MLF, there's Luthor and Catwoman Riddler. They are being not. I don't know. They're here to help people. Like Batman's forcing them somehow. So you see Catwoman checking out, like Catwoman and Batman are looking at each other. There's his son. He puts a hand on him. God, I guess Luthor some shit saying, Shazam, shut up. There's Robin with his daughter, and they, shake hands. Go back to Wonder Woman at Themyscira, and she's given back her royalty, looks like. Some of these guys are watching. This guy spits, and Magog here, he kind of hits him in the back, like, fucking show some respect. So it seems like Magog was internally a good person, just made bad decisions. So Wonder Woman's a teacher, and you got, let's see, Green Lantern, he's part of the UN. There's his ring right there. Superman makes a memorial. Wonder Woman comes down and gives him a gift. It's like something to help you see more clearly, and he opens it up, and it's glasses. He puts them on. He's Clark again, and they kiss. And this is cool. He's pulling this huge plow or whatever. So here's Spectre and Norman, and they're talking. And it's like, so what does everything mean? Like, why did you need me? No, okay, so Norman asks him, it's like, so after anything that's happened, who do we punish? Who's responsible? It's like, no one needs to suffer any further for the tragedies we witnessed. He's like, well, you were once a man. What would he have thought of all this? He's like, that's a good question. So he takes off his thing, and that's what the guy looks like. And I guess this guy was in his church, Norman's church here. It would have been interesting to see him at the beginning of the book, but we don't, for whatever reason. So these were the final pages of the original book. And it says, grace be with you all. Amen. And then this is another addition to this, this graphic novel. It says 1 year later. And you got Superman and Wonder Woman coming to this superhero restaurant. Greetings, citizens. There's a guy dressed as Superman. There's the real Superman. Like, be nice. I'm like, this is weird. Why are we here? They're here to meet someone. He's like, where is he? And they're like, he's like, did you tell him? No, of course not. Who am I to hoard the moment? I want to see him actually be surprised. So I think Wonder Woman picked this place. She was kind of curious about this. And then suddenly here's Batman, and he's there. And he's like, how did you sneak up on me? Like, me, of all people, how do you do that? It's just funny. So they're here. So Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, they're here to meet. And they all order their drinks, water, milk, coffee. That's appropriate for them. And he says, why did we meet here? Who chose this? And Wonder Woman says, I did. I was curious. And I think I feel it could be humbling, and we could all use a little humility. So they toast to past friends, and they order what they want. And they all have like they have different names for their the food. Power Girl chicken sandwich, Dial H for hoagie, Starro the casserole. Batman, he's like, steak, well done. There's the man of beef. He's like, just steak, well done. So they're catching up on everything that they're doing, the work they're doing. Talks about Lex Luthor and how he tries to sneak into the Batcave at least twice a month. He says he sends his best. Really? No. So they bring the food, and they say the steak isn't well done. And Superman uses his powers to finish cooking it for him. So there's like, are we here to solely play catch up? He's like, no, we have something to announce, these two. And Batman just nonchalantly says, you're pregnant. And they're like, what the fuck? How does he know that? He's like, observation, for an ageless Amazon of perfect physique, you've put on a pound or two. That was my first clue, and there were others. I'm not sure what it's trying to show here. And best of the both of you. He's like, okay, well, I want a commitment from you, Wonder Woman says. She's like, I want you to be the child's godfather. And they're like, what? They're both surprised. So they're just kind of rekindling like the friendship that the three of them have, and like the relationship that these two have. And especially Bruce and Superman, and like they talk about their differences, but how much they trust each other, and they have a moment with each other, and they hug, and this guy's like, ew, like gross, two men hugging. And they kind of talk about, this kid is going to be the most powerful child in the world. Basically being raised by Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Godfather Batman. That'll be interesting. There's the Spectre and Norman. He's like, that's a Spectre platter, he says, and Batman kind of notices these two. And they leave. Like, let's go home, dream about the future. So this was just kind of a nice little, like, prologue, kind of an end credit scene. It's fun. And then it just has some sketchbook pages from Alex Ross. Some cool shit. These are all just like pencil drawings. Like the detail he can do with this shit is just really impressive. Superman and Wonder Woman here. Give some description. We won't go into that. Captain Marvel, Batman. And here's where it identifies all these characters. Like, you can't even... It'd be really interesting to go through some of these at some point. Like number 30, who is this? Flash 4, Wally West's daughter. 32, Green Lantern, daughter of Alan Scott. Let's see. 36, Black Canary 3, daughter of Oliver and Dinah Queen. Number 20, what's her name? Night Star. Half human, half alien, daughter of the late Starfire and former Nightwing. Cool stuff. And here you can see like the development of pages and how it's done with the script and the breakdowns, the pencils and the final finish painted art, and how he uses a reference promotional work, cover for Wizard, Overstreet fan cover, creator collection cards, retail poster, this is Alex Ross's dad. Yeah, and that's who he based Norman McKay off of. Then acknowledgements from Mark Waid and Alex Ross. And then he has like a bunch of friends listed as who he used as reference. That's cool. So there it is. Kingdom Come. Good story by Mark Waid. Even better art by Alex Ross. This isn't the best, like I've had this for years. There's probably all sorts of different editions. There's probably oversized editions. I recommend reading this. Getting the experience of this is really, really good. There's a documentary coming out on this. It's on Kickstarter. I think it ended tonight. As of recording this on October 25th. So, you know, that might be a fun thing to watch sometime. So I thought it was a good time to get to go through this. The story's good, but man, this is like the coming out party of Alex Ross. I mean, you can still talk about the Marvels, you know, the book he did before this, and I don't know what he did before that, but I feel like this is what made him into a megastar, and he was just like voted as best painter for year after year after year in every category and every award there could be. He did some stuff after this. He did, I think, a series called Justice. He wrote Earth X for Marvel. That would have been amazing if he could have done the art for that. But there it is. Thank you for sitting through and going through Kingdom Come with me. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about this. Hit that like button, hit share, hit subscribe, do all those things. I'm hoping to put out more and more videos, and we'll see how this one goes. And, you know, that's it. Thank you all again. And as always, I will see you in the next video.